All right, so I finally got a pair of these in hand, and I wore these for the last couple days. This is the Nike Vomero Premium, and this is a look at the shoes. These things are absolutely crazy. Like, it is such an insane stack of foam, even comparison to the premiums, and I also have tried the Vomero 18s. I will do a comparison video between all three of them for you guys as well. So subscribe and check back on the channel. But I haven't had a pair of sneakers where I've felt so like undecided on how I feel about the pair of sneakers after wearing them and just trying them out. So ultimately, there's three things about these shoes that I don't really like that I wanted to share with you guys. But there's one overarching major thing that is so positive. Does that one giant positive thing outweigh all of the negatives? So I wanted to give you guys kind of my pros and cons for the Vomero Premiums after wearing these for the last couple days. And hopefully you guys find this video somewhat informative if you guys are on a market for buying a pair. I will link them in the description. It will take you over to Nike when they actually end up showing up. Dick's Sporting Goods also has some sizes here and there that pop up. But there is a future release date coming for the next colorways, and hopefully you guys will be able to get your hands on a pair of those. So as for sizing of these, I would say they probably fit true to size. I got a half size down to size 9, and it's a little bit snug. Size 9.5 would probably be a little bit better for myself, but I didn't have any options. 9 was the only one I could get, so it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, you know this is a massive stack of foam. On the bottom, it actually tells you the stack height, which is kind of cool. It does say heel 55 mm and then forefoot 45 0.5 mm, which means it's a 10 mm heel toe drop from the heel to the forefoot. But it's crazy. This is such an insane pair of sneakers. So you have this insane midsole. We'll start there, obviously, because it's the biggest. But the midsole is just so incredibly massive with the ZoomX. But what makes this unique is you have encased Zoom in the front and also in the rear of the shoe. So the Alpha Flies we've seen, which is their like marathon fast running shoes, those have air zoom units in the forefoot. That are kind of like two little columns, but it doesn't have any of that in the heel. The crazy part is they weigh 11.5 ounces for a size 9. That's pretty darn light considering like how big of a stack you have here. So overall, like it's pretty wild. You also have almost 2 inches of stack height on the heel. Like, this is so massive. If you need to feel a little bit taller, I mean, I'm a little bit shorter too. Like, I don't mind having a little extra height, but this thing is chunky, like crazy, crazy chunky. If you've tried the Vomero 18s and you've tried the Vomero Pluses, this is definitely like literally the next level up with the Vomero Premiums. The price point is premium as well at $230, so it's not cheap. It is very expensive. Anyway, the upper, you can see there's a little outline of the air on the sides of the shoe, kind of a nod after the up-tempos that Pippen used to wear. And then also the upper has a very, very see-through material. It's like a double layer of mesh, but kind of that fish wire mesh or whatever I call it. I don't know actually the technical term, but it's kind of like a fish wire over top, and then you have a little bit of a finer mesh underneath. So 2 small layers, a very breathable pair. Then you have double reinforcement around the laces, so I like that. You also do have a semi-gusseted tongue, which I always do appreciate that. And I like the way that they integrated it because you have mesh for the lockdown, so it's a little bit more breathable because of that as well. Also, lots and lots of padding on the tongue and lots of padding on the heel, making it all around a very comfortable pair of sneakers. And the outsole has a pretty good amount of traction on here as well. But the star of the show is this midsole. Again, the ZoomX is insane. It's very, very soft. It's an insane amount of heel squish, insane amount of forefoot squish as well. But I know you guys want to know, like, what are the things that I don't like about this shoe, because there's a lot to love. I'll tell you, the first thing is the overall integration of the ZoomX with the Air Zoom units. I'm kind of concerned about it, and this is primarily why. You hear that squeaking? Now, that squeaking might become an issue when you're walking around in these shoes. Leave a comment in the comment section if you're watching this from the future, you've bought a pair of them, and it does that weird squeaky sound when you're walking around. I mean, there's just lots of gaps down here and lots of room for air when you're walking around versus having an all foam pair of sneakers. You just don't have to worry about the obstructions and the weird rubbing of the different materials and the different densities of the Air Zoom units versus that ZoomX, and really just having a weird harmony happening when you're stepping around. I just would hate to have that squeaky sound when I'm walking. Now, all right, squeak test with walking around. No squeaks. Now, I did take these out and walked and ran in these, and I didn't hear any squeaking as of yet when I was walking around outside. All right, squeak test while we're running around outside. Inside, I did hear a little bit of squeaking, but it wasn't like as noticeable as this. But it is something to make note of. I guarantee somebody's going to have a problem with that because of the integration, and it's going to be unfortunate when it happens because I kind of like the idea of what they have with the air zoom units integrated in. But 100% honest, I don't think it's really necessary for them to keep integrating their Nike Air products into the Vomeros. Like honestly, you have ZoomX. The ZoomX in the Vomero Pluses are excellent. And I'm somebody that historically loves Nike Air. I mean, I literally love the Nike Air Max 90 is my favorite model, but it's not a comfortable pair of sneakers. The Air unit is rock hard. So the Air Zoom units in here are very soft and they're very responsive. And for those that don't know, they have little chambers inside of the Air unit and the Air Zoom units. And when you squish down, they kind of expand and then retract, which makes them very, very unique. But it also makes them very susceptible to popping, which again, with the same reason why I don't like the squeaking, just the fact that you have this obstruction more or less in the middle of your shoe that could potentially have issues whether or not they pop or squeak. And again, hopefully I'll see some comments in the future saying, yeah, you're right, that happened. That's the primary reason why I think this is a pair that I'm cautious of. And the second reason why I think that this is maybe a pass for some people is because of the stock height just being too high and being a little bit unstable. So try these on. Immediately threw these on because I was so excited to get them, and it kind of rolls into it a little bit. Like sometimes the narrowness of the heel is so small that you lean into it a little bit and then all of a sudden you just snap over because it's just not stable. I didn't feel that in the heel, but the problem is I felt that in the forefoot. Like I was kind of leaning over in the midfoot section here, and all of a sudden my ankles like gave out. This is just initially trying them on, trying to get a feel for them, and I was like, holy crap! Like that's like kind of crazy to me. The forefoot stack, it's like it's so tall that it felt like you could just snap and roll an ankle in that front section right here. So I do think that that could be potentially like something that's going to hold people back from buying these shoes, because honestly, like I didn't have any of that problem with the Vomero Pluses. This pair though, immediately upon trying them on, I was like, holy crap, if you're not careful, you really could roll your ankle and probably break it because of the forefoot section right here. Not necessarily in the heel again, which is usually the part where it's the most like cumbersome, in the forefoot section, which is very bizarre. I will tell you though, I did lace them up snug after my initial try-on when I went out and ran in them and stuff. And I felt a little bit better. Obviously, people are going to be like, well, Captain Obvious, yes, if you tighten up your shoes, you're going to have more stability. True, but I did want to just call it out. It does feel like it could snap a little bit and roll a little bit. And when you're paying $230 for a maximum cushion sneaker, you kind of want more of a stability sort of feel sometime. If you're just buying these to run fast and straight and have lots of cushioning, I mean, I think this is going to be a game changer for some people. And the last reason why I think this might be a miss, and this is just me completely nitpicking, I'm throwing that out there to be honest. I have a pair of these still, the more up-tempos. It has the arrow across the side. As you can see, a little silhouette here. I actually did a custom with my daughter even on a pair of white ones. We painted the name Air all over them, which was super fun to be able to do. I love this shoe. Like, it's just a legacy shoe. It's definitely a pair that's had a very significant impact on sneaker culture just in general, and it's one of my favorite non-Jordan basketball shoes through the decades. And maybe I'm missing something here, but I don't understand why they integrated it on this shoe. Like they literally use the same flowy nature of the Air, and you know, I'm there for it. I like it. I just don't understand the placement on this Vomero Premium. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. It says literally Air. It doesn't even have Air in the shoe. Like if you look at this shoe, it says Air, and you have a full-length Air unit, which is what was definitely one of the selling points for it back in the day. But this doesn't have Air. It has Air Zoom, and then it has ZoomX in the midsole. So it's not the clear like Air units in it. So I just don't understand the naming convention of Air on the side of the shoe. It doesn't, I don't know. It should just say Zoom, to be honest, because you're using double Zoom. You're using ZoomX and you're using Air Zoom. Say Zoom on the side instead or something. I think that would be a lot more appropriate. It's misleading, a little bit confusing to myself why they would have included something like the Air in it. But I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just pointing out, I'm like, cool, I like that. But also I kind of don't. I don't know. It's kind of how I feel, I'm being honest. The only other thing that I would mention that is kind of like a meh is, the tongue structure. It's kind of like off-centered, and the padding is like just creased always weird. It's not necessarily straight. So those are some of the minor like flaws in the shoe that I can kind of see. Call them flaws if you will. Call them nitpicks, whatever. Is the one major like awesome thing about this shoe worth the negative things? And the one awesome thing about this shoe is obviously this midsole cushioning. The cushioning is massive. If you like a max cushion, like crazy ride under your feet, and you want max cushioning when you're running around, it doesn't get any crazier than these. Like, this is probably one of the craziest ones that I've ever tried on, and I've tried on a whole bunch of comfort sneakers from a whole bunch of different brands. Like this one has more cushioning in the midsole than the Fresh Foam X more V6s from New Balance, which is absolutely insane. Those are super, super good, but those are only like 155 bucks. This is 230. In my opinion, the Moors are definitely a better buy. But if you want the latest and greatest loaded tech in a pair of sneakers, this one definitely offers that in the fact that you have just an insane heel squish, insane amount of forefoot squish. You literally feel like you're like springing on like a really, really soft, like pillowy, responsive midsole, and they do a great job of the integration with that, with exception of the couple things that I just mentioned. I like the combination of that with this upper, with the breathability of the upper and just the overall comfort of the shoe. And all in all, like if you're just going to be running in these casually, you're not trying to go fast, you're just trying to have like a really well max cushion pair of sneakers, you're not going to get anything crazier than this. Like I said, if you're a Nike diehard fan, it's always fun to get the latest and greatest thing. Overall, is this worth buying at $230? No other sneakers in mind, just like you see this one, is it worth buying it or not? And that's where it's going to come down to you guys, the consumers, of whether or not you want to pull the trigger or not. Yes, it's shiny, it's new. The midsole's crazy. I like the look of the midsole with the two like column things that they have going on there. The ZoomX and Air Zoom is pretty crazy combination, but is it overly functional? Yes and maybe no in the long run, again, with the squeaky issues. And then the stability might really throw people off because of, the wobbliness of the shoe. It's not ultra unstable, but it's minorly unstable, and it's definitely worth noting, especially again in that midfoot, which is something that I didn't expect. Ultimately, I'm definitely keeping my pair. I'm not going to return it because I really, really like the overall sensation and the feeling that I wear with these. So in my opinion, it's definitely worth buying them and trying them out as just a diehard fan of Nike. But I do think it's a good buy if you're, again, wanting the latest and greatest. I would recommend the Vomero Pluses, though, over these. Just my own personal opinion. I'll link them in the description as well. I think that is a phenomenal shoe at 180. Very, very comfortable. One of the most comfortable ones that I've tried on from Nike, with exception of these now, where it's crazy where we're in this space again, where Nike's creating awesome stuff. And not only just awesome stuff, multiple different tiers of awesome stuff, where you can get the Pegasus, you can get the Structures, you can get the Vomeros. So there's 3 different lanes and then 3 different tierings of each of those lanes. I will compare the Vomeros next to each other for you guys in a video again, so subscribe. But what do you guys think though? Have you tried them or not? Leave a comment and let me know what your initial impressions are of them. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, of course, let other people know as well in the comments, because this is just my own personal opinion. So I appreciate anybody that has their own as well. But it's fun to be able to see where we are in this crazy sneaker comfort space. We might have hit the limit with the Vomero Pluses, but I did a top 10 max comfort sneaker video already on my channel, so I cover a lot of different brands. So check out that video if you guys missed it, because there's a ton of different brands bringing lots and lots of max cushion stuff. This is the biggest stack that I've tried thus far out of all the brands, but definitely there's a ton of different brands out there that are bringing some awesome stuff out there that are very functional as well. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and hopefully see you back on the channel for some more content. All right, peace guys.